I saw Justin Bieber sold his catalog for $200 million, which was really puzzling to me because I thought about it for a second. I feel like if Justin Bieber waited like a year, maybe 5 more years, he probably could have gotten at least half a billion, if not
Mm.
750 million. But I feel like with Justin Bieber, that's someone where you really got to know your worth there. And it's an unfortunate reality of the music industry with how the record labels still control the artists. And I think we're starting to see that come to a close. Um, just with artists freelancing, being more creative and going independent. But I feel like just negotiating, getting your music back is the way to go. I'm not even a Justin Bieber fan. I'm not a believer. Never was a believer, even though that was my era growing up. Probably why like I was 13 when Maybe Baby came out. So that's when the first testosterone was starting to flicker in my body. I'm just like, what is this crap?
Mhm.
When it
Yeah.
came out. But like when you get older, you realize, oh, this guy's like a cool businessman. Like he knows how to make money. He knows how to stay popular. He knows how to stay relevant. He's still getting nominated for Grammys. It's just very disappointing to see.
Yeah. I mean, granted, he got nominated for Yummy, and that song's god awful. But the weird part for me, Justin Bieber selling his catalog, first of all, $200 million. I mean, he has one of the best selling songs of all time in Baby.
Yeah.
Baby, I think, has like 4 billion views on YouTube. One of the first videos to have a billion views.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Insanity. And then he has all these other hits that span the last 15 years. So it's like, for me, the price tag, I think you were right about the 500 billion. And if he would have waited, he
Million.
probably could have sold it for $1 billion at one point. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more behind it. But and then like I think about the other artists that have sold their catalog, Bob Dylan. We got like
Bing
Prince,
Crosby.
Bing Crosby, the guy who makes all the Christmas songs, you know, like, and then we had Prince. His family sold his catalog, and I think Michael Jackson, similar thing. Like all these massive artists selling their catalogs, and for me, that's alarming. I don't like that. That freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, and I think artists should be able to control their music, but it's definitely a tough part of the music industry. A lot of artists are trying to fight it, but when you have someone as massive as Dr. Dre who's selling their music for a profit, it's like I feel like if you kept your music on your own, the amount of money you'd be making on royalties would be ridiculous. Like someone who's on the Music Forbes every single year is Tech Nine. Not a lot of people know who Tech Nine is. Tech Nine's not like a household name, but he was the first independent rapper and he really changed the game to starting your own record label. He was kind of the pre-YouTube era YouTube rapper where all of the merchandise, all of the tour stuff he would sell, he had his own brand with Caribou Lou, so he kind of sponsored his own drink and then he created that, turned it into a beer, and then making his own record label and becoming one of the first massive independent artists. And technically, I get he's probably not one of the best rappers of all time, just with his albums. But you can go listen to any Tech Nine song, and the technical ability is there. The way he puts words together, and he's also a 50-year-old who's touring at this age, and he's still going on stage and then rapping as fast as humanly possible. And then when you hear him rap fast, he does it in different cadences where it changes it up, but beyond that, just the ability for him to own all of his music and then be
Yeah.
able to go out there and get someone like Dwayne The Rock Johnson
Yeah.
on his song.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't dove into much of his catalog, but I can say for somebody who he's definitely one of the most influential artists, especially for like the underground scene as far as like
For YouTube rap, he really pushed the
YouTube rap, independent artists, things like that.
Mhm.
There's a dozen artists that you can mention, hundreds of artists that you can mention that wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the groundwork that he made and also his technical ability as well. Like, I don't think anybody can deny listening to him that he's not a technical rapper. He's not a great rapper in his own right. So the fact that he kind of paved the way for that, I think him and then the emergence of different digital technologies will kind of breed the next generation of music, you know, getting music out to their fans, whether it be through NFTs or through doing it on their own.
Right. And then you see the band that's the wealthiest right now and who's still one of the richest bands of all time and makes a ton of money, Motley Crue. And why was that so important? Motley Crue, Mick Mars was one of the first people to go to the record label and then fight to get their music back. They were in a contract dispute. He was able to get Motley Crue the rights to their music back, and I felt like that was a pivotal turn in the music industry where no one had really done that before, especially for a new age kind of grungy pop punk band to go out there, stick it to the system, get their music back, and they're still touring today. My friend just saw them play at Fenway Park. They were with Def Leppard and Poison. Tommy Lee's still kicking it. You still
Mm,
have Nikki Six just hunched over his guitar, still shredding away.
yeah.
Still have I forget the lead singer.
Vince Neil.
Vince Neil, yeah, you still have Vince Neil there, and then Mick Mars. So it's like that's a band able to keep their music, and then they've been extremely profitable because of it.
Yeah.
Another guy, not very popular, but Yellow Wolf went started his own music label. He has his Creekwater whiskey, he has his clothing brand, and now he owns all of his new music. And then he released like 4 projects in the span of 2 months, I believe. So he's putting out a
Jesus.
bunch of albums. Then he switched to a rock album. So it's like he's another guy who really pioneered in independent music. So
What's cool about artists like Yellow Wolf is because he doesn't have somebody breathing down his neck, like, this is the music you have to make because this is what's popular.
yeah,
He's able to create the music that he actually wants. He's able to freely express himself because of it.
yeah,
And I listened to that rock album, and I haven't dove into much of his other catalog, but I do know that that's a great album.
yeah. It is a great album. Kind of reminded me a lot of the old bands that came out of Boston, like the band Boston. Kind
Yeah,
of reminded me a little bit of Bon Jovi, and then he had some Leonard Skinner influences in that album as well.
a little
Definitely
bit
the
of
kind,
Foreigner too.
and then you still get some of his rappy flows in it
Yeah,
as well.
for
But
sure.
I feel like the next step for artists is going to be moving away from record labels, realizing if you're talented with social media, you can promote yourself on your own. I get if you're a rock band, it's a lot harder because you really need the studio equipment to be able to make that sound really good.
Yeah,
Um, but overall, moving towards NFTs, and I don't really love NFTs when it comes to photos, but when it comes to music, the fact that Tory Lanez can go out here and say, "All right, I'm gonna be releasing 1 million songs, and that's it. Whoever gets them," and they're $1 each. Tory Lanez made $1 million in 60 seconds. That's unreal.
insanity.
Yeah,
So for that, it's like that's the future of it, decentralized music making. And like you mentioned with social media, TikTok, different platforms like that, it's going to be the face of it.